All right, this is Netflix's new doc that came out on Sundance, A Perfect Neighbor. Uh, while I love the body camera footage of how it was told by that story, the ending totally, totally was a biased conclusion. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing A Perfect Neighbor. What's up? Pretty simple premise. In 2022, we have a huge Karen who hates kids in general, doesn't want them on her property, even though they are not on her property. And this is body cam footage between different 911 phone calls, talking to different neighbors, and with kids and everything else. And who are you going to believe with this story? And I said biased conclusion. That is not really what I'm trying to say. Maybe that was the wrong word, but there's an agenda. There you go. The director had a huge agenda that did not match the conclusion whatsoever. So the big agenda in this movie is stand your ground laws. And she was trying to make this a stand your ground law case in Florida. No, this is the stupidest fucking one you could absolutely choose. Because if you actually read the law of stand your ground or actually able to shoot your gun, it is not as willy-nilly as this director wants to fucking say. It's more like breaking into your home or having physical confrontation. It is not this whatsoever, and that actually proves with what the jury says. So what this director did is a huge slap in the face and like totally showed her bias and what she actually wanted to show the audience. But before going into that, you're getting all this body cam footage and cell phone footage of what is actually occurring in this neighborhood, and that's what really works for this of, are you trusting the kids? Are you trusting this girl? Are you trusting the parents? And who I trusted most was like some of the parents on this, in this doc. There are some of them that you could tell like, some of them I feel like they were poking the bear. Kids, they were poking the bear. There were some poking the bear moments. I would say that was occurring through and throughout. They are kids. None of them are going to be perfect. So you know for a fact there are going to be elements where I do think that, yeah, were the kids probably ding-dong ditching at 1 or 2, 3 moments in the movie or in this period of time? Absolutely. Like, I would not deny that. But is that worth what the conclusion of this movie is? Absolutely not. But this is what this movie truly is. It is a true looking at footage of what is happening with the cops. And that's what like is really good about this story is when we get to that moment of like, you know, body cam footage, you know, the incident happens with her getting shot is all fantastic. But the last 10 minutes is a big fuck you to what this director wanted to put her own opinion in. Because, like I said, if you actually read the law and do research, stand your ground isn't, you know, shooting through a bolt locked door. That is not stand your ground whatsoever. That is so different than like California where they say, oh, if an intruder breaks into your home, you better run away because it's safer for that. That is stand your ground laws if it happens in Florida or other positions. There are also, you know, you have that one case, I think Trayvon Martin was also a stand your ground case. But like I said, that is different. There was a confrontation apparently. Of course, what you want to believe and what you want to believe. Which is kind of weird because they're calling the guy that shot Trayvon Martin white, but he's Hispanic, so they called him a white Hispanic instead, so it's like a big fuck you as well. Also, that tent case that happened in Aubrey, I don't remember. No, Aubrey was the one in Kentucky. But the high schoolers getting stabbed, right? Where you have that one. And that's what is also kind of funny where they were freaking out, like, why is she not in jail? Well, that kid's not in jail either because the court case has to keep going and grab evidence. So people are like I said, there is so much like what this director did at the last 10 minutes of this film is the biggest fuck you. And the biggest like, yo, you showed your bias on 10 fucking folds where it was very fucking frustrating. And then when Al Sharpton comes in, I'm like, oh my God, he's a race-based motherfucker through in and throughout. And so that's where I was like, oh my God, this last 10 minutes is insufferable. Like, literally was the most insufferable part of this doc because it turned to a goddamn agenda piece and it really pissed me off. Because if you're going to randomly give me that stat about stand your ground, you got to give proof. Give me cases. Give me cases because at a point, these numbers, they mean they're bullshit to me. They're straight up bullshit when you look at this case and you're saying stand your ground affects disproportionately black people. But she got convicted for not standing her ground, for basically the jury saying that was not a stand your ground case. It would make sense if you're saying stand your ground case is fucked up and she got off, but she didn't. So again, there's a huge fuck you agenda in this movie that the director is a big, middle finger to the fucking face. But I cannot give this movie a negative review because, like I said, the 90% of the film is very informative and very, edited well. But my God, like, at a point, if you really want to, like, do the stand your ground thing, you gotta give me a fucking better case. I'm sorry, you have to. So A Perfect Neighbor will receive a 3.5 out of 5 futons, which equals at 70%. So let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics at 100% with 66 of them, audience score and 78% with over 250. I wish Rotten Tomato gave the consensus, or not the consensus, but like how many were actually like A pluses, how many were 60%, 70%. Anyway, critic consensus: as gripping as is deeply unsettling, the Perfect Neighbor lays bare to the systematic failures and the quite terror enabled in America's legal systems with surgical precision. How? What was the systematic failure? What was the systematic failure? Please tell me that down below. What was a failure? She's in jail. She was found guilty of murdering someone. Legal system. You got it. Innocent until proven guilty. Is that what we're doing? That's what it is. Yes, she shot. So we got to figure out the facts of, was she actually trying to break down the door? Was it stand your ground? We don't know. So this critic consensus is complete fucking bullshit. So it's 3.5 out of 5 for San Jose. Racism, gun ownership, and mental health. Okay. That has nothing to do with gun ownership. Okay, we have an 80% there. I'm curious, like, how many people actually gave it, 70s and below. Okay, we have a 70 right here. And 95%. Okay, you're drunk as AIDS. 100%. No. Not even close. 90%. Okay, here's a 60% from the UK. Yeah, it falls short, and I have to agree. Giving this 100% is kind of a goddamn joke because a brilliant piece of commentary. Then it says this guy from Pittsburgh Magazine without much literal commentary, because you had to put that for the very end of the film. You fucking cuck. Anyway, 100%, 70, 78. Chase Talk here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of these Futontopia, the Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'm going to watch the tomorrow, week from a month, a year from now. I'll just go freaking one of you. Peace and love, and stay safe and frosty out there.